What's going on, guys? My name is Wade with TechDaily, and this episode of Retro Reviews features one of the greatest game consoles of all time, the NES. Now, the reason I wanted to feature this is because Nintendo just announced the new NES Classic Edition coming out this November, which will be a tiny version of the original console with 30 classic games built in, all for $60. And I'm definitely excited to check that out when it's released. But what I have here is the original NES Action Set Bundle in all of its 1980s glory that included 2 controllers, the Zapper, and the Super Mario Bros. Duck Hunt Dual Game Pack, which altogether retailed for $149.99 back in the day. The original NES controller was a thing of rectangular beauty. It was as basic as it gets and a far cry from the comfortable ergonomic button-covered controllers of today. A, B, up, down, left, right, select and start were all that were needed to play the classic games, and even though it definitely looks and feels awkward, the original controller paved the way for the controllers we have on consoles today. The Nintendo Zapper was a light gun you could use with games like Duck Hunt and Wild Gunman, and was essentially the Wii 20 years before its time, allowing you to shoot objects on the screen and take games to a whole new level. And speaking of games, the NES platform had some of the most timeless titles of any console, like the Super Mario Bros. Series, Legend of Zelda, Mega Man, and Metroid, just to name a few. Most of the games have obviously evolved over the years and continue to be remade and re-released on new consoles, but there's just something about sliding in that clunky gray cartridge and playing the original games. As far as the console goes, you had 2 buttons up front, the power button and reset button for when the game just wasn't going your way, and around back you got the AC adapter plug, channel selector, and RF switch. The NES was designed to hook up to your TV through the cable input using this nifty little connector, and although you can pick up RCA cables today for an easier connection, as long as your TV still has antenna in, which every TV should still have, you can hook the original NES right up and start playing all of the classic games, even on something like a 55-inch Samsung Smart TV like I have here. The only thing that doesn't work on new flat panel LCD and plasma displays is the Zapper gun, which is sad, but you can always pull out the old clunky bubble CRT TV to use that. The NES was named the single greatest video game console in history, and for good reason. It was the best-selling console of its time and really revitalized the video game industry as a whole. It took some of the most classic arcade games of its time and put them right in people's homes, and the NES has had some major influence on the games and consoles we still use today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode of Retro Reviews. Let me know what you think of the NES in the comments below. Of course, you can always leave me some suggestions for future retro review episodes. Also, be sure to follow TechDaily on Twitter and subscribe to the TechDaily YouTube channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys later.